This is one of the first watercolors that I created that I actually liked. You can go watch the one of the trees that I did before, but today we will be painting oranges with leaves, and the painting that is beside me is the original one that I did that I really liked compared to my other old paintings. Let me show you one of those, another one that I found. So this one is fun because you can do a little bit of color mixing, whereas in the previous painting, it was using only one color, which was black. But for this one, I am mixing yellow and red. And I've seen someone else keep a spray bottle to spray their watercolors to activate them. So I'm giving that a little try here. And I actually ended up making a different version of this because the one that you see right now is very bright and vibrant, but the one that I'm creating is a more muted version, which you could do the bright version as well. I could have gone back and painted over the first layer that I put down, but I was just excited to move on to the next thing. So I left it as it was, and it gave me something different because I didn't want to exactly recreate the same one I had done. Also, I did a lot fewer leaves in the second one because on the side, I definitely started piling in way too many leaves, and then they started overlapping, and I just wanted to have a nice clean background. So this brush was giving me some trouble. I don't think I ever used it for watercolor before. So just let you watch me struggle there. But once it dried, it turned out okay. I was kind of surprised. But I do like the really vibrant colors, but I also kind of like the muted version. So the circles don't have to be perfect. Yes, oranges have a circular shape, but they aren't always a perfect circle. So that is really helpful. And you could also go in and add some shading and highlights and stuff. But when I was a beginner, I was not necessarily doing all of that. I also thought about going in with my black pen to make it more like an illustration and cartoonish, but I didn't do that because I was just keeping it simple for this video. But I did want to give you that idea if you wanted to add some more character. You could also go in with like a white, the Jelly Roll pen. So I was still painting in my full size. I think it's like 9 by 13 or something, maybe even larger, notepad. And it's trickier because then it's difficult to turn the paper because I would be knocking over my water or all sorts of stuff, getting paint everywhere. So I wanted to show you like the difference and the difficulty that can bring. So I did leave it in there because that's how I painted my original one as well. But this not only allows me to play with mixing colors, but it also gave me the chance to kind of make a pattern and practice with spacing and different shapes. So I really enjoyed that. And I am going to speed some of this up because it really is just a long, slow process. But I want to always share how long it actually took me. So if I ever forget to do that, you can remind me in the comments. And if I know how long it took, I can at least update it in the description if I didn't say it in the video. But this one took about 30 minutes. So a lot of times videos seem so short and fast. They'll be like 5 or 10 or 15 minutes, and then it really took 30 minutes to paint. So sometimes I'll think, wow, like I take a long time, which honestly I do. You might be able to do this painting a lot faster than me. I did get faster, I will say that, at making these circles. And I did have some weird like brush lines and everything. So I did go back and just add some water and kind of smooth it out a little bit. But at the end of the day, I wasn't trying to do a masterpiece with this. I'm probably not gonna use it for too much. Thankfully, I did switch brushes for the leaves. And I will put a little bit of a description of the supplies that I'm using just so you know what they are. But this is really one of those things, just use what you have and what you're used to. And some of the oranges I did leave a little brighter. I really like adding more red because it reminds me of like the blood oranges. These also could be peaches. And in fact, when I first painted this, I'm thinking I might have wanted to make them peaches. So anyway, you could also do that and maybe add a little more pink to one side and a little more yellow to one side because peaches have a lot more color variation. Also, I did not look into like, what do orange leaves look like? I was just doing this for fun. And I have since then done like orange slices and grapefruit slices, as you see here, which was a lot of fun. So I recommend that as well. And I thought about doing that here, but I didn't want to get too caught up in the details when I was trying to make this a much simpler tutorial. So that is something you can do later on, or if you are more advanced, you could go ahead, or if you just have more time and look up a different tutorial or just look at an orange, that could be fun. I'm going to try to do a video of baking orange slices for holiday decor. I did it last year and it turned out so great. And I've just kept them in a little bowl year round because I love seeing them. They're so pretty. But I did some different colored leaves. This is more of like a gray green that I start out with, but then I did go back to more like a yellow green. And I tried to fill in bigger spots with the leaves. I also wanted the leaves to face in all sorts of different directions instead of facing the same way because I wanted it to be more of a cute little pattern instead of looking like too exact. I am sipping on some tea. It is a chilly day today, and so I didn't go out when the sun was out, but I am drinking, what is this called? It's really good. It's like a cinnamon tea, but it's not called that. It's something weird. I might have to put it in the description. And so I just faced them all sorts of different directions. And as I was doing this, I was not very confident. Even though I had this other reference right beside me, I was not sure about the placement, especially because I didn't love all of it that I had for the other painting. So I was pretty hesitant for some of this. And that's part of why I was going slow. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. But in the end, I still really liked it. So my mother-in-law saw it and was like, it looks like a wallpaper. And it definitely helps filling some in from the edges, putting some of the oranges partially cut off, and same with the leaves, just poking through the edge. So thank you for painting with me today, or for just watching. I like to watch a lot, even though I don't paint them and I don't paint at the same time. I just enjoy watching and learning from someone else. And that is like the biggest tip that I found because before I watched other people painting, I was really struggling with how to do it. It's so crazy how much you can pick up just from watching. I was trying to spread this around to make it a little less blotchy and kind of smoother and less streaky too, which I was happy with that I was able to do that. Of course, this paper did buckle a little bit and everything, but that doesn't bother me. I'm kind of used to it now. In fact, sometimes now that I use like higher quality things, I struggle with it because it's just not what I'm used to. But some things I'm like, oh no, this is really nice to have better quality. But see how I'm like holding my hand so awkwardly? That's because this is still attached in the notepad, sketchpad. And so it's difficult to move the paper. So I was just moving my arm in strange ways. So this is also just a fun and good practice for making circular shapes and for not worrying so much about how stuff looks in the beginning, because it kind of just comes together as you keep going and it becomes recognizable. Like, yes, these are oranges or peaches. So fruit, at least. I'm thinking maybe I could have done some of the leaves a little larger, like the ones that are just floating leaves by themselves, or added some more color. I might go back and do that, but I can still show you the finished result. Also, I'm already just too excited for my next video, which is going to be a hot air balloon. I have painted them so many times and I basically have it memorized. I don't even need to look at one at this point. So I hope you'll join me for that one.